Can the average Joe make money investing in cars? Guys, cars as investments has been a very niche market. It's been restricted to very niche and rare brands, the likes of Ferrari, the likes of Porsche. JDM has had its market as well, the GTRs, the Supra Mark IVs, Honda NSX, even the S2000 in modern history has been a bit of an investment car. So the market's definitely existed, but it's been very niche. That was all changed, of course, in 2020, where cars became synonymous with investments. And it wasn't just cars, it was a lot of things that turned into asset classes overnight. Watches, handbags, jewelries. I mean, stocks and real estate also went up, but those have always been actual literal investments. But a lot of things that weren't meant to be investments became investment grade, or at least people considered them to be investment grade. And guys, to be honest, with watches, a personal experience, guys, I sold my watch collection because I wasn't too happy with the participants that entered the market. Before, if I had watches, you might see one or two people and you'd say, hey, nice watch. What do you like about watches? And you'd discuss your love for mechanical watches or Swiss or Japanese, whatever it is, you enjoyed watches. Once the hype came in, you had a bunch of market entrants who really didn't enjoy watches. They were there for speculation and for flex. And guys, it really took me out of the hobby, right? And since then, I did a bit of a restart. I sold my collection and I started again. I started with G-Shocks. My love of G-Shocks came back. I'm wearing a G-Shock today. 6900s, which I've really enjoyed. Some of the cheaper Casios, Quartz. I'd left the Quartz world of watches, right, as I became engulfed in the hobby. And since that restart, I've started to enjoy Quartz watches and cheaper watches, guys, right? I've started to do the hobby a little bit differently because everyone came in, everyone was wearing these luxury watches. It's just not what the hobby is about, at least to me. Even with expensive watches, it was always about the mechanical movements, the history, the heritage. The same thing happened with cars, guys. It really changed where before you just had Porsches, Ferraris that were investment grade cars, theoretically. Pretty much most Porsche and Ferrari models became investment models. Then it filtered down to a lot of the other brands, a lot of the Lamborghinis, and then it further filtered down to a lot of JDM cars, and pretty much every car before you knew it went up. Do I think cars are a good investment, and do I think there's a way the average Joe can invest in cars and make money? We have to be really careful with the word investment, because to me, an investment is anything that can compete with the S&P 500 or a good established stock market like the S&P 500. I'm in Australia. I have the ASX 200, AXJO. You might have a different market that performs similarly. Whatever the case is, to me, investment grade is something that competes with the return those markets provide you, at least the ETFs that those markets provide you. And what's that return like? Well, that return is over 10 years, 10% before fees and taxes, right? And after you incorporate all the buy, sell costs, the taxes, you're looking at probably a 7% return. For anything to be investment grade, in my view, needs to be at least 7%. And guys, historically, cars, even the best of them, over the long period, has not netted you 7%. Now you might say, oh, I have this car and it went up 2x. Well, you also had holding costs, insurance, maintenance, registration, a bunch of other costs you don't even think about, right? In Australia, for example, people have these cars that they treat as investments, but because insurance is so expensive, they don't get insurance on them, right? And what happens? Well, the cars get stolen, guys, and you've lost so much money. So people are trying to avoid these costs, but they're part and parcel if you're investing in cars. So to me, guys, overall, my rule number one is cars aren't an investment, right? That's the very first thing. Okay, what about the average Joe then? Can he invest in cars? Can he make money in cars? Okay, now that we're away from the fact that cars can be an investment, let's think about smart choices, okay? Can you buy a car that depreciates very little? Yes, you can. Can you buy a vehicle that goes up? Yes, you can, guys. Just even the average Joe can do it, right? Will it go up and match the S&P 500 returns in the short term? Probably not. Can it match the returns? It is possible, okay? Because I think a lot of people are talking about Porsches and Ferraris and all this, and there's a bunch of watch lists on the internet, but I'm an average Joe, guys. I'm an engineer. I'm not interested in that because I'm not in a stage of my life where it makes sense to get any of those cars. I don't know if I'll ever get there. I've got a link to my newsletter. It's free. You can join it on my page. If you go to my bio, I've got the link to my newsletter. That's a monthly newsletter I do where I keep you up to speed with the world of cars, right? But I will be starting a paid membership, not to this newsletter, but I'll do another subletter, and it'll come under the same email, where monthly I'll update you on excellent investment car options, right? That'll be around a monthly letter, and I'll be including a bunch of cars month to month and how I think they'll perform, and then I'll be removing some of my previous recommendations as well, based on how the market does. So if you're really interested, please do go ahead and subscribe to my newsletter. It's free. When that paid service comes, if you want to be part of it, you can join the paid membership. If you don't, that's cool as well. I'm not going to keep it very expensive anyways, but it does require a lot of work. But today I'm going to tell you about some of the cars that you can have as investments, right? First things first, Toyota, okay? Japanese cars, and especially Toyota, have been on the hype train, but let's not forget that even pre-COVID, these cars were excellent cars to hold, and they lost you very little money. In fact, I bought my hybrid Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid 2 years ago. In the first year of ownership, it made a bit of money, and now it's gone down by around $2,000. So after 2 years of ownership and 20,000 kilometers driven, I would say that if I sell it in the market, I want to get rid of it pretty quickly, I would lose about $3,500, which is nothing when it comes to cars, because it was a brand new car I purchased on the service plan, everything, guys. So that's such a low cost. One of the first things I would recommend is hybrid Toyotas, especially if you get them CPO or really good condition. Not going to go up, guys. All right, let's be honest, they're not going to go up, but they'll retain a lot of your value, give you a lot of flexibility. Number 2 car I think is really good for the average Joe. Subaru BRZ Toyota 86, the very first generation, and I would aim for something like a 2014 or 2015 model. The very first models had a few issues, so you want to hedge your bets and get one of those. Excellent cars. I think they're done depreciating for the most part. They might go down a little bit, but over the long term, I expect them to go up a little bit. Number 3, Toyota GR Yaris. I'm in one right now. Literal rally car, homologation special. If you look through history, there is no homologation special to exist that has gone down in value. None of them. All of them have gone up. Is it going to go up in the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years? I don't think so, guys. But over the long term, decade, 2 decades, yeah, I would say this is one of the nicer cars to get. Number 4, Honda S2000. Most likely, I expect that to appreciate. Finally, number 5, guys, I'm going to say a BMW M3, E90 M3, E92 M3. Those cars are done depreciating as well. But be careful, that's a trap, because those are very maintenance heavy. So I would say those cars are a good buy for someone who's initiated, who's in the BMW world, someone who knows how to wrench on their cars and can work in their garage. If you're not from that background, don't get that car, because the costs are going to make up for the lack of depreciation. Please do subscribe to my newsletter. It is free. I pack so much value. This video is not financial advice, guys. No one knows where the market is going to go for any car, right? No one. Anyone who claims they know is lying to you, right? So please take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. But I hope that helps anyone who's watching, and let me know what you think.